house there.
Hey guys, welcome to the Massive Iron Channel. I'm Steve Shaw. In this video, I'm going to talk about the 7 best dumbbell exercises. These are exercises you should consider having in your program, whether you're at a home gym or a commercial gym. Before I get into that topic, if you have any questions or comments, drop them down below. The best topic ideas, I turn into videos just like this. All right, to do this video, I'm going to strip down just like athlete. No, I'm not going to do that. You guys don't need to see my chesticles to process information. I'm going to give you each one of these exercises is going to be associated with a important body part. So I have 7 exercises in this video, 1 for each body part. So let's dive in. Number 1 is the dumbbell bench for chest. This is probably one of the best hypertrophy exercises you can use. Yes, barbell bench is a great exercise. Yes, everyone is obsessed with the barbell bench, but you really should be doing the dumbbell bench. Now, the question is, do I need to do dumbbell bench? Are we talking about incline dumbbell bench? You can do either one, regular or incline, really doesn't matter. I used to alternate between these 2 lifts every other week when I was in my prime. I would do bench and then incline bench the next week. And the secondary exercise, I do incline dumbbell bench and dumbbell bench. Again, the dumbbell bench is right at the top of this list. Just a great exercise for hypertrophy. A little bit better on your shoulders because you're not using that fixed bar. All right, number 2 for delts, the seated dumbbell overhead press, the seated variation. I like this. I like seated pressing for a number of reasons. You're more stable. It's less harsh on your lower back, and generally you can use more weight. The tricky part, though, with a seated dumbbell overhead press is getting the dumbbells in a position, especially when you start to get stronger. In some ways, when I was at my peak, I was doing 3 sets of 100s for 10. I was doing some 110s. At my peak, I did 120s for 5. The trick at some point is getting the dumbbells in a position. So at some point you're gonna cross that bridge where you're like, this is becoming a real pain, and you might have to move on or consider a different variation, like a standing single arm press, where it's easier to get that single dumbbell into place. But in my opinion, the seated dumbbell overhead press should be a staple in your programming. Home gym, commercial gym, it doesn't matter. Find a place to do this lift with some sort of a seat back that's at about 70 degrees. All right, for the back, a no-brainer here. Now, chest-supported row is a good exercise, and I have nothing against a chest-supported row where you're doing 2 dumbbells at the same time, but the king of back exercises, in my opinion, is the single arm dumbbell row. You can use a ton of weight. Because it's a unilateral exercise, you tend to be able to use more weight for one arm than you would use for both arms. So what do I mean by that? At my peak strength, I was doing a pendley row for about 405 by 5. The single arm dumbbell row, I got to a pretty, how would you say, a little bit momentum-y, 270 by 10. But you can generally use more weight for one arm than you could relative to your pendley row for both arms. So if you're able to use 275 for a pendley row, if you cut that in half and say like 137 and a half, you're probably able to use more than that on the single arm dumbbell row. The single arm dumbbell row is a great exercise for back size and strength, and you should be using this in your program. It can beat the living crap out of your lower back, so you might want to consider my variation where you're setting it down just briefly on the ground after each rep, bracing yourself, and then driving it up. All right. Now for hamstrings, this is a variation that not a lot of people talk about, and I think something I've worked, I wouldn't say I've worked hard to bring it into prominence, but I've opened the doors to a lot of my clients to use this variation. It is the dumbbell Romanian deadlift. The Romanian deadlift, it's a great movement, but sometimes when you're doing so many barbell movements in the gym, you just get tired of loading up another barbell. With a Romanian deadlift at a commercial gym, you can just strap it on, get your Versa grips, and get after it. I think the dumbbell Romanian deadlift is a great choice for hamstring work. and don't rule it out. One of the benefits with a barbell, obviously you have the fixed position, so it's going to be in front of the bar is going to be in front of your legs, right along your quads. With the dumbbells, you can allow it to rotate a little bit and be more on the side of your quads. It gives a slightly different feel. Not necessarily better, just different, but an exercise you should check out. All right, for your quads, this is kind of a tricky one, because there's not a lot of good dumbbell quad exercises. You can do the dumbbell squat, but that's lame and ineffective, and it generally tears up your knees because your knees got to be forward. And you can do the goblet squat, boring. The goblet squat for me is just absolutely boring. I think it's harder to get a weight in position that's challenging than it is to actually squat, and that goes for men and women. I think the only lift here that's worth considering, in my opinion, would be the dumbbell lunge. You can do a Bulgarian split squat with a dumbbell, and that's all good and well. But I think the dumbbell lunge would be something each of you should consider. You can hold a dumbbell here. You can hold a kettlebell here. Usually what I do is I hold a dumbbell here. I don't like holding the dumbbells at my side because when I lunge forward, the weight tends to push forward and stress the knee a little bit more. So I prefer to hold the dumbbell up here. And even if it's 100 or whatever, you can get pretty challenging weight. You can do a lot of good quality reps on the with your lunges holding that weight. So it's a decent choice. I like the lunge, not only for the quads, but for booty development. And it's pretty simple. To just grab a dumbbell and go after your lunges. It's, in my opinion, more of a finisher type of exercise. All right, for the triceps, this one's going to be a little bit weird, okay? Because not a lot of you guys have probably heard of this one. And this is an exercise I've been using a lot more in the past year, especially during the pandemic when we didn't have a lot of choices for our triceps. Now, I'm not talking about the dumbbell kickback. Don't get excited. It's something called the PJR pullover. And this is something that I learned from Paul Carter. Basically, you grab a dumbbell. Instead of doing a pullover, you're going to rotate back there, extend, and push up. And you're going to get a lot of good quality tricep action. So there's a little bit more elbow bend. You can just search YouTube for PJR pullover. This is a very quality exercise for your triceps. If you haven't tried it, you should probably give it a try. Now, for biceps, there's a lot of good dumbbell exercises to work your biceps. You have the pinwheel curl, which I'm a big fan of. But I think probably the best is the seated incline dumbbell. You just have a slight incline. You can lean back a little bit, get that good bicep stretch. And I like to do them 1 arm at a time because you can lean in and get a little bit better contraction. And I know some coaches don't like that, but it's more of a rest pause type of movement because you're alternating between arms. I find you can use more weight. I find I enjoy the exercise and get a better feel when I do alternating dumbbell curls rather than 2 arms at the same time. So let me know what you guys think. If there's a dumbbell exercise I missed that you think should be on this list, drop it down below. So guys, hope this video has been of some help. If you have any questions or comments, drop them down below. If you made it this far in this video and have yet to subscribe to my channel, please do. I'd appreciate the support. So guys, as always, thanks for watching. Have a great day. I'm going to take off my top just like Athlete X. No, I'm not going to do that.